Welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. Last week we kind of left off with being in the middle of installing the septic system, and then the water system was kind of up in the air because a lot of parts did not come in.
So there's a bladder in there?
Yes, inside of this.
And how many gallons of water technically are in there before the winter?
They claim it a 20-gallon tank. That's what they claim it.
Oh, really? Doesn't look
That's
like
what they claim.
it.
But I don't know how many gallons of water is actually inside of it.
And how much is in the bladder?
Yeah.
Do those things ever lose their air pressure?
Yes. Not very often. If they do, there's usually a problem with them.
So the plumber is doing what he can without the parts that did not come in yet. One is the pump, which is very important, and the other is a stainless steel 1-inch pipe. They sent him the wrong pipe originally. It was a 3/4 inch pipe. So right now he's installing the things that he can get in, like installing power that is eventually going to go to the pump. Okay. Yep.
Take it to the very top of the panel wall.
All right.
Not enough?
Yes. On the other side of the house, they are continuing with the septic system. They'll probably get an inspector out here later this afternoon to approve it, and if all goes well, they can cover it up, and that'll be taken care of. So this is where the expansion tank is going to sit, and this will help relieve some of the work on the pump so it doesn't have to run all the time. This trench will run the water line, which will go to the water tank that was just set, if you saw that on last week's episode.
Digging a little bit more right here.
This just gives you what it looks like with the distribution box with the 5 different runs attached to it, and then they dead end into the open leach field, which is basically the pipe just ends right here where the black starts. So the plumber has installed the plastic water line that's going to go from the house and then over to the water tank, but they're going to leave that uncovered so they can finish the job near the water tank but cover up the rest. In the meantime, the county inspectors have arrived to check out the septic system.
Oh, really?
Everything looks good and they have the approval to cover everything up. The plumber had left a little while ago. There wasn't much more that he could do until these parts came in, and he gave me a phone call later on this evening to tell me that the pump came in. So he went and picked that up this evening, and then when he went to go pick it up, the company that sent the wrong pipe must have overnighted another one the right size, and that had also showed up. He's planning on being back here first thing in the morning, so it looks like we'll stay on schedule. I did not cancel the water delivery just yet, and that's supposed to take place tomorrow afternoon. The septic side of things are looking good. They almost have this all covered up, and that'll probably be it for them for the evening, and then we just have to wait for tomorrow morning.
it, huh?
That's it.
So there's the stainless steel pump, all stainless steel except that black strip where the water comes in. And then this is the stainless steel pipe, the 1-inch pipe that did not come in. They had it threaded this morning.
And you say these don't get used that often anymore? Really?
Nope.
So what other option is there then?
Well, that's a good question, because I called Famous Supply. They don't carry them any longer. I called Car Supply down in Marietta. They no longer carry them. Westwater in Marietta does have them, but they don't keep them on shelf. Same thing with that PVF Supply.
Really?
They don't keep them on the shelf.
Was that like a little cradle for it so it don't rest on the very bottom?
Yep.
Now, if this pump were to be set in the tank vertically, you would lose a couple hundred gallons of water, because where that black strip is where the water comes in. So he mounts it on the bottom of the tank, keeps it up a little bit so you're not collecting sediment, and it kind of rests in this cradle. That way you can use the full capacity of your water tank. Now the 1-inch stainless steel pipe is basically for longevity. It's going to be suspended from the top of the tank, and it'll be used to make an easier way of changing out a pump if you need to in the future. The black water line attached to the pump will basically be suspended inside the tank. On the other end of this water line will be a fitting that allows it to go perpendicular into the stainless steel pipe. The wiring for this pump uses a 20 amp breaker, but it is a 220 breaker. So here's the stainless steel pipe suspended from the top of the water tank. And then here it is all hooked up. So essentially, if the pump were to go bad, you could either lift out with that rope, pull it up with the plastic water line, disconnect your fittings, resplice your wires, and set a new pump in the tank without having to empty the tank or even going inside the tank.
Okay. So what you have here is there's a gauge here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see that gauge, it should get to about 30 PSI on the gauge.
All right.
And then you should be able to let off this. But flip the breaker on upstairs.
Okay.
Okay. Then once you get down here, just take this and flip this to there. And see how it says auto?
Okay.
It says auto,
Yep.
start, and off.
Gotcha.
Okay, so what you do is you just take this and hold this you'll feel the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That'll kick the pump on.
Okay.
And it'll kick it on until that builds up to pressure. And you'll kind of like, and then once you get it, like you'll feel it. You'll hear the water come in, and then you just let off of it.
Yeah.
And if it keeps running after that, you're good.
Okay.
And then all you have to do is just take this and crack that open a little bit.
Let the air out.
Let the air out of it.
Okay.
And then you should be ready to go.
And then that's like another air for when this is hooked up to bleed air out, or just
No, this is a drain port.
Okay.
So what this does, so these tanks, when they go bad, what happens is there's a bladder inside of them. And when they go bad, it fills up with water. So that's what this is for, is just to drain this all out of here. Okay. So that way you can get it out without having to carry a tank full of water. I got the electric run up through there. Hopefully everything looks all right.
Yeah.
And there is 38 pounds of pressure in that tank. So this is a 40-60 switch. So you always set your air pressure 2 pounds lower than what your kick on is. So it kicks on at 40 and it shuts off at
and that's
60.
the air valve up top there?
That's where you've checked the
Okay.
pressure at it.
And you could use like a regular car inflator or something that's got a gauge on it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, that's what it is. Okay. Hopefully everything looks all right. But I'll let you crawl out first, and then I'll drag this light out with me.
All right.
Filled the trailer jackknife backing in.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Did you hit any? Did you hit the fenders, back fenders?
Oh, bet my bumper.
Did you? I'm still waiting on the people to deliver water. I was going to take a shower, but I want to be caught in the middle of taking a shower back here by the shed if they were to show up. Right now I'm starting to lose temperature on my little solar shower here. I'm at about 98 degrees. So I'm going to try to put this inside my truck and cover it up, and maybe I'll conserve heat until they arrive. So I'm hoping they arrive soon so I can take a shower as soon as they leave.
We were hoping to have some water by now. This way we could have tested out the system up into the pressure tank and make sure there was no leaks. But the excavator needs to get his backhoe back for a job tomorrow. He can't really wait any longer. He's going to cover everything up and then he will be done here on the site. So this here's a small example of why you should chock your wheels when you're loading heavy equipment on a trailer, because it can lift up your back tires and you really don't have front brakes when you're in park. And if you're on the slightest incline, the whole trailer and your vehicle could move. Sam realized pretty quick this one's going to fly and ended up putting a 4x4 under his front wheel. All right, so the water tank is in, the water pipe is into the basement, the pressure tank is down there in the basement. Everything water-wise is good, except we don't have any water yet. There was supposed to be a water delivery sometime around 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. Apparently they're having some issues with their truck. They had to take the tank off of it, and I called them a little while ago and they said they were still coming out, that somebody was in front of me. So we're technically still on the schedule. It would have been nice to have the water in here and test this pump out and make sure that the line wasn't leaking or anything before we covered it all up. But the gentleman with the excavator had to pick up his excavator this evening and take it to another job for tomorrow. So he wanted to cover things up and get everything buttoned down over here. So that's kind of where we're sitting, waiting on water. The home company will be coming tomorrow morning. As you can see, the gentleman with the water delivery did show up. It's about 8:30 in the evening and he still has one more stop after hours. Now just a quick reminder, the water tank that we got is 1,400 gallons and the water delivery truck is capable of delivering up to 2,000 gallons. So we're going to put the balance of the 2,000 gallons, 600 gallons into the septic system. Okay, so that tops off our water tank. Now we're just going to take the rest and put it in the chambers of the septic tank. Even though we have water now, it's still not directly hooked up in the crawl space. That'll be taken care of tomorrow morning with the home company. So it's one more outdoor shower for me before, hopefully, crossing my fingers, I have water tomorrow.
Can I borrow your light for a second? Would you mind?
Yeah, good.
I just want to turn this thing on. It hasn't been on yet.
Got some water.
Guess I made it. Just got to fill that expansion tank up, though, I would imagine right now. Yeah, one thing, it's always humid in this area to begin with, even at night, you know.
Oh, I bet with the trees around, there's no air coming through.
We've noticed in the crawl space that it's damper than usual for a home of this type, and they're recommending that I try to put some sort of air circulation down here, either a vent fan or even a dehumidifier. These are the Hartzler home guys. They're back to kind of button everything up. They're hooking up the septic system right now, so there was just one drop that came out basically in the center back half of the house, and then they're tying into where Sam came into the sidewall 2 days ago. So give it a little while for those joints to dry, and I no longer have to use the emergency outhouse. I asked them before they came out if they'd be able to install a water filter for me down in the crawl space, and they asked if I could just pick it up and have a bracket so they can hang it.
Do you have a...
The braided cable, is that a ground or something, or?
No, this is your heat tape, so
Oh, okay.
this is so your water line doesn't freeze on you.
Oh, okay. Cool, I didn't even know that was going to be on there.
After I get done running this, I'm gonna put that foam insulation over top of the whole water line.
Gotcha.
The only thing, that pressure tank, with it being down in the crawl space, I don't know if you'll have to get, if they make like a foam sleeve or something.
Yeah.
I think I'll have my heat tape on the other side and around that T, so it won't be, you'll have warm water going in there in the winter.
Well, all the runs for the heater under here, right? So if the heat's on, wouldn't this be, I mean, it's not, there's no air coming down here,
It
but
probably won't be super cold. This is just, usually we, in a crawl space, depends on if it's a double wide or a mod. Mods, usually they have foam insulation on the block, so usually it stays pretty warm. We don't heat tape them. But
yeah.
So while one gentleman is working on the water line and finishing the hookup of that, he's going to insulate it and start work on the air conditioner on the outside.
Oh no! Follow the directions in there and go on line registers. They'll extend it to 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Easy, Danny. I don't want to clump a bird.
You have done it.
See, they got the red pipe on the right side there.
Yeah, they do, don't they? I don't know what they did that for.
So he took care of moving the hot to the left side of the faucet, and most of the air is bled out of the lines, and we have some water. Okay, August 3rd, 2023, a red letter date in the history of science, as this is going to be the first time that a flush toilet has been used in our property in southern Ohio. Okay, so much for that. I'm going to stand on this porcelain now and go hang up this clock. I'll be back with you in a little bit.
So far, the water's doing good. I think I might be taking a shower tonight. It's not even Saturday.
Hey Lucas, can you see my fix?
This is the electric line for the air conditioning system.
There you go. Alright.
You're good.
Air conditioner is up and running, so there's just a few more odds and ends and they'll be out of here. One is touch-up paint I asked them for because some of the doors got nicked up during the construction process. And then lastly, on the living room breaker, nothing was working. The outlets weren't working, the ceiling fan wasn't working, and apparently there was a plug that was improperly put together when the two halves were attached. And that was an easy fix down in the crawl space just below the breaker panel. All right, so essentially we have a full working house on the inside now. We've got our septic hooked up, the water's hooked up, air conditioner is running. There's not too much more that has to be done on the inside. I will have to make a set of steps, entryways on both sides of the house here to make it ready for its final inspection before we can get an official occupancy permit. And then there's going to be a lot of work that we're going to have to do on the outside. Probably the first thing is just to try to get some gravel down here, create some parking areas so we're not tracking mud into the house. And we should have a good amount of room for trailers and UTVs and stuff like that. And then we'll worry about the open land we got over there. Just depends what we're going to do. Unfortunately, I had sold my rake a couple weeks ago, and I could probably really use a rake behind my tractor because there's a lot of rocks over there. I'm thinking that I would probably just rake it out a little bit, throw some seed down, and whatever it does, it does. We'll have to see. Maybe I could strike up a deal and get another rake in the meantime. But that's going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one's coming out. And keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.
Doc, the bruise in your head. I know how that happened. You told me the whole story. You were standing on your toilet and you were hanging a clock and you